Hi, this is Bernadette Johnson. I'm also known as Kazaya Akizi, and welcome back to my channel, the No Channel. Anyway, I just have a little quick message that I want to bring to you today, and this is really going to be a quick one, a brief one. Now, judging by the title, you may think, when I say there's a lot going on, you may think that I'm going to be talking about, all of the things that's happening all over the world for us, like the crisis, the maybe the hantavirus and the war in Iran, and all of that. But no, even though yes, those topics are very, very relevant, and there is a lot going on in this world, a lot of heavy, depressing things, and to those who's not strong in the faith, terrifying things. But no, I'm not going to be talking about that. That's not the going on that I'm talking about. I'm going to keep this is going to be a bit lighter, a lighter hearted messages and the messages that I usually bring. 'Cause I usually bring, heavy messages, but I'm just going to keep it light this time. So the goings on that I want to talk about is far as like being overwhelmed with too much to do, too many obligations. Maybe you stretch yourself too thin. And for instance, like professional wise, work wise, career wise, like the career I'm in. And I noticed that like every day I'm just overwhelmed with emails about webinars, about meetings. I'm members of different committees. I'm a part of different committees, and we have all these meetings. And also when you're a member of associations and organizations, they have conferences, and a lot of times there are so many to where they actually overlap. Sometimes you have you're torn between two or three different conferences, and they're all being held at the same time or close around the same time, and you have to pretty much any minute mighty mo and choose which one you want to go to. And there's a lot going on, and and as an academic librarian, it's really it's really hectic, in my profession. And if those of you who don't know what an academic librarian is, that's a librarian who works in a library in a college or a university. And actually, I recently read an article where a lot of academic librarians are experiencing burnout due to all of the obligations and the duties and things like that. But anyway, and honestly, I noticed this change, and now, if you all have noticed this change too, please put it in the comment section. Please leave a comment to say you've noticed this change too. Look like post COVID, after 2020, when we was under a mandatory shutdown and lockdown. It looked like post COVID, when people started coming out of the their homes and from emerging from lockdown. It's like the world just burst wide open. It looked like people is like they're in operating at a higher gear. It's like there's been an energy shift to take place on the earth. And and I just noticed that, and I'm also thinking because of a lot of things we had to learn to do virtually, during the lockdown, and people realize how convenient the virtual, like Zoom and Teams and all the other virtual meeting um programs that you can use. And I think people saw the convenience in those platforms. That's, I mean, not programs, platforms, those virtual platforms. And a lot of people, and you have all these different groups and these different organizations hosting these virtual meetings now, virtual seminars, these webinars, like a seminar online, a webinar. And a lot of times having online meetings, and people feel that they can have more meetings now because there's no you don't no longer have to meet in person. So you can meet more by meeting online. So I just, and the other day, my mom and I was having that conversation about, I was telling her about, there's just been just so much going on, and it's just it can be overwhelming. So I had to learn to kind of just, cut back on some of the obligations, cut back on some of the things. And I could see also too, there are a lot of opportunities, that come my way also. And some things I just have to just pass. I have to pass up on. I can't get involved in everything because I'll stretch myself too thin. I'll stretch myself, stress myself out. And that's why I encourage, if you find yourself in that same situation where you feel overwhelmed by all of these things, and you feel like you don't want to miss out. Sometimes you have to miss out. Your body, your mind, your brain will appreciate you passing up on some of these things and just simply taking a breather. And also too, like even on your job, take those vacation days. Don't feel like you're gonna win a big massive trophy if you don't take your vacation days. I mean, and if you do win a trophy, your rest is still more important. Yeah, but anyway, this like I said, I just want to keep this light. And also, it was either last year or the year before last. I actually did a video where it was titled "Black Women, You Have Too Much on Your Plate." Now, with this message, I'm just talking to people in general, not just black women. But that one, I went a little bit more, spiritual too, a little bit on that one. So if you want to look that one up, it's called "Black Women, You Have Too Much on Your Plate." Yeah, but anyway, I just wanted just to share that, to see that I just noticed this, after the COVID lockdown and the COVID scare. I just been seeing that the change, the energy shift, where just there's so much going on. And also too, I want to say, I also believe why there is so much going on that people have splintered. You have people forming their own organizations and forming their own associations and committees and this and that. And also too, post COVID, people are also getting more inspired. They have all of these ideas, and I also believe it's due to this lockdown. They were restricted and confined, and it's like how when you let a dog loose after being pinned up, being in the pen, you let him loose and he runs kind of wild. So that could be it too, where people are, they have so much, they're charged up, and they have all of these ideas, and it's it's hard to keep up with it all. But the thing is, as I said before, your rest is more important. Yes, you want to stay busy. Yes, you want to be involved. Yes, you want to, live a life with purpose. But you also have to consider, your body also needs rest. So the thing is, just find that proper, I would say, find that proper balance. Because I had to, I'm learning it myself. And also, too, don't overcommit. Don't overcommit, someone, because, it's hard to find someone who is truly dedicated and just really always come through. When a person see that you're that type of person, they'll latch on to you and feel like they can call on you, and you will be at their beck and call at all times. No, you have to learn to say no sometimes and pull back. Yes, you want to be dependable. Yes, and all of that. And you want to be reliable. You want to have the reputation where people can rely on you, but you don't want them to take advantage of you. Don't let your liability be where people will just use you up, and then when you need them, there are no way to where to be found. So no, you don't want that. So find that proper balance. And as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. But anyway, hopefully you found this message beneficial. Until next time, be blessed.